I am here in San Diego, beautiful San Diego. I'm at not just San Diego, but Coronado Beach is right up ahead. Now here's the thing. The sun right now, it's almost sunset. It's like blinding. Like I haven't experienced something like this in a while, maybe ever, where the sun is literally like piercing you in the eyes while you're driving and you can't see a thing. There's some moments, especially because it's super hilly here, where it just gets super blinding to see. Anyhow, I'm super excited. It's my second full day ever in San Diego, and I believe I'm in a very posh area because, like, look at that. You got the palm trees, these fancy houses, beachfront. A lot of rich people here, likely. Maybe the house aren't mansions, but I'm sure it still costs a lot just to live here. Super excited. I worked the whole day, woke up, worked, so I was able to get off a bit early, and it's about 4 p.m. Pacific now, maybe 4:10, 4:15, and I get to finally see San Diego. This is one of the kind of compromises you have to make while you are working and traveling. You get the time after work, and then when you have to fit in like a gym routine where you're spending at least an hour per day in the gym, which everyone should, you get even less time. Anyhow, I'm super excited. I can see the light now. The colors are amazing here. And yeah, it also doesn't help that, like, with daylight savings time, the sun will set within like 30 minutes from now, maybe even sooner. Nonetheless, I'll make the most of this, and we're gonna see what this place is like. First and foremost, I gotta say, the colors here are just like amazing. Like the sun has this like beautiful yellowish tinge to it, whereas when I was in Arizona, especially like the Phoenix, Scottsdale area, the sun typically had more of like an orangey flare to it, which caused, I guess, more of an orange tone to the sky and the sunset. I don't know why or what the difference is, but in my opinion, I'm seeing much more of like a yellowy flare here that's just beautiful. And the rocks and the landscape here is just incredible. I've never seen anything quite like this. I mean, you don't get this type of stuff even in Florida. I mean, Florida just has a different landscape than here. And here it is, guys. First time ever on this beach. I mean, super excited. I'm not going to film the whole thing because I want to be present. I want to take this in and just relax and enjoy it. But I love beaches. I'm more of a beach person than a mountain person, although mountains are growing on me since I've been to quite a few in my travels. And yeah, I do understand that the West Coast beaches, they're super cold, even sometimes in the summer. So you can't really go into them, which I don't really like, especially not now in the winter. But I do like to just walk around. And yeah, I mean, first impressions, I would tell you this. Having walked on a beach in St. Petersburg, Florida, just 10 months ago for the first time, and then walking these beaches, I feel like I like these better. Maybe I'm biased. I would like the Florida St. Petersburg ones in the summer because I could go into them more and for longer stretches of months. But wow, yeah, I think the Florida beaches are just as incredible in many ways. I just feel like I like these a bit more for a variety of reasons. Just off first impressions. That might change over time. And let me break down why. One, not as many old people. I'm sure there's still a lot of old retired people here, but oh, look at that. What a cool jet plane. So there's a Marine base here. There's military here. Gotta keep that in mind as well. But for one, I feel like less retired people Florida just has a large percentage of retired people, which makes sense because, you know, they save up all their life and then they want to retire, so they go to Florida. But, you know, when you're young, do you really want to be around old people all the time? No. And yeah, there are young people in Florida too, so there's that. But then too, a lot of these beaches I went to in Florida, they're very touristy. Like, you could tell, like, it's a tourist town, people come and go. Here it feels more like people live here. So then, if you look at these houses, there's these beautiful houses and palm trees, whereas in Florida you might see, depending on the beach, a lot more hotels and resorts. Second, the colors. Yellow, beautiful, incredible. And then it just stretches out farther. You just get a different energy, different feel. Of course, it makes sense because it's on the other side of the country, but yeah, just first impressions of Coronado Beach. First time I've ever been here. Super excited. Yeah, I won't have that much time before sunset, so I'm just gonna turn off the recording and enjoy it. But yeah, so far it seems different from the East Coast in a few ways. It's less touristy, more residential, but yet still so vast and not so crowded with tourists. Just people living, and then just a different, hard to tell, but different energy in the air with the colors of the sun. It's just a more yellowish tinge, upbeat, and then, like, you know, not that many people even walking around. I was frankly really surprised I could find parking in the residential area. There's a bunch of it. I thought I'd be fighting for parking, but I guess it is just a random day on a weekday. But that's the cool part about living in San Diego. You can freaking live here and then come here on a Tuesday if you wanted to. So it really depends what you want. I personally just like to see a beach, maybe jump in like a few times every, 3 or 4 months, and then I'm good. I don't need to come here all the time. But it's so beautiful. You can see like a cruise liner or some type of big ship in the distance there. I don't know if you can see it, but I see it. And also, living here doesn't mean you're killing yourself with costs. That's what I thought. But my first day here, yesterday, first full day, I caught up with a friend, and we talked for a couple hours, and he told me he only pays $1,300 a month for rent. He has roommates, but he lives in a pretty decent sized house in a residential area. Not as nice as this, but he's telling me like rent over here is probably like $4,400. That's a lot, but $1,300 a month. And I checked out his place, fairly spacious, more spacious than you would in New York City for sure. Pretty nice, chill area. $1,300 is not bad at all. Back when I lived in Maryland, before I went on this travel adventure, so this was like 2020, I was paying $1,100 a month for rent in a townhouse that I was sharing with 3, sometimes 4 different roommates. And in my head I was thinking, life is tough. Everywhere else is probably much more expensive than here. And there's no way I could go somewhere I enjoy because it'd be way too expensive. And yet yesterday, I was at a Planet Fitness. It was packed. There's tons of people in there, probably low income. I saw a lot of different ethnic groups in there, and I was just thinking, people, if they wanted to, they could live here. Maybe these people aren't rich, but like someone's gotta be a janitor, someone's gotta clean the bathrooms, do all these menial tasks and live here as well. So if there's a will, there's a way. If you wanted to live in San Diego, even though it's supposedly one of the most expensive places, you can make it happen. And think about that. If I was still in Maryland, it'd probably be even more now because my landlord would have raised the rent. And so, yeah, it would have probably been close to $1,200, maybe $1,300, the exact same price that my friend's paying now for rent, and he lives maybe 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes away from here, but not that far. And so, you know, all these thoughts in my head about, oh, I can't go to the places I want to live because they're going to be way too expensive, and I can't make it happen. Sometimes they're just thoughts. And then, you know, if you talk to real people living there, they made it happen without breaking the bank too sometimes. And, you know, there are exceptions. You know, maybe New York City is legitimately expensive, but even there, you could live out in freaking Queens or Brooklyn or all the way up in Upper Manhattan and just make it happen. And then, you know, eat the cost and like live there if it's what you want. It may not be as perfect as this, where that guy found some type of hack where he found a good place, apparently on Facebook Marketplace, for $1,300 a month, where he's living like 10, 15 minutes away from here. So he's pretty happy. It is possible. You may not find that good a deal. In my experience, I found New York City to be much tougher. Like if you're living that far away and saving money, you're gonna be living in like a borough with like nothing but like homeless people and like a few bodegas, and that's about it. And then just like residential areas. So it really just depends, but I don't know. I wanted to share because I found that inspirational. This is it, guys. The sun's about to set. It was amazing. The colors here are incredible. Now it's orange and yellow. It's gotten more orange. But then look at the horizon over here. It's like a pinkish hue. Pinkish to blue. And personally, some people would disagree with me in the comments. I've seen it. But personally, I don't see those colors on the East Coast. At least that's my opinion. It's beautiful here. And then you get the palm trees. This really adds an incredible touch. Now here, apparently there's been a lot of these army planes flying. This one looks incredible. It's like a dual helicopter. Crazy stuff happening here. Maybe that's not as enjoyable